Hi everyone. So I'm back today for another snapshot video in the series here over on YouTube with you guys. Thank you for joining me again. So today let's have some fun with what I'm calling old school business cards. Those of you who were around with me in the 80s when we were doing our art and all that kind of stuff, it was really before a lot of the digital age came in, and laser printing and was all the rage. And so we were all printing at home and doing our thing. We were doing Photoshop and on our computers and all that good stuff. And so we were able to make our business cards using these perforated pages, it's a full sheet like that, the way labels are. Well, nowadays, no one's really doing that, right? And so in the thrift stores, I'm telling you, everywhere, you can find boxes of these. Like I got this whole box for 99 cents. 250 cards, and they're Avery, so you can actually go in and using the Avery template, the number for the template, which is up here, you can go and get it. I think it says use 8, like for this one is 8371, but depending on your box, it'll be different ones. So you can literally really set it up on your computer easily, so you can print out whatever you want to put on it. In this case, I'm going to use this as a thank you card for the insert on my purchases. But you can use it as a business card. You can use it as, these would make neat trading cards, sort of artist trading cards, because this is basically the size of it printed up. So here are some of them that I've printed up before, because I like to keep a stash of them. These are blank on the back, but we're going to put something on the back of ours. I'll show you how I did that. But you can really see they're really interesting, like all the jelly printing on them, what have you. So you can just make a ton of these so quickly and without a lot of effort. And then I use a corner rounder to round the corners, or you can keep them square. But you can make your own business cards. I thought that'd be fun. Recently, I was going back through some of my, ephemera as I'm doing my purging, and I came across a little stack of business cards I kept because they were just so special. They were like little works of art, from artists that I knew 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when everybody was making their business cards. I'll have to find some of my old ones to show you guys. But anyway, I thought, let's go old school again. Why not? We have all this opportunity to Gelli print. It really is pretty cards. They're personals. You could use these for so many things. I mean, I think they're fabulous as business cards. I'd much rather give these out, the nice Gelli printed image on it and my information on the back, than these, these glossy business cards now that we can get, 1,000 of for $30. So it's a fun concept. Well, let's get started. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to actually make cards like this, and then I actually print it out on a blank sheet of paper, like using the template. So here we are. Like this is the template. So I just printed it once so I could get the size to make sure, even though it was in a template form, I wanted to make sure that it was going to fit within the space of the card, because I printed some labels here. So I printed labels, you can see here, using the crafts. I have some craft labels. So I thought it'd be nice just to kind of get rid of the white altogether. So this is going to go the full span on the back of the cards. And this will be, all of my information and my thank you for the purchase, using these craft labels. And these are Avery as well, 5784. I can show you guys there. And these are the Avery labels in the craft. I think I found these at Office Max as well. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to make these into some neat business cards, quick and easy, using our Gelli plate and having a little bit of fun. So I've just been thinking a lot about old school art techniques that we used to do, and we've gotten away from them. And I just want to kind of go back to some of them and have fun. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to use the larger plate here, and what that extra is. And for this one, I really do let it get kind of goopy. I mean, I'm going to put a lot of paint down. So I'll use these, the color shifts So this one is the aqua. I'm gonna use the lime green. And we're just gonna put these on the plate. We're gonna kind of do sort of a mixing on the plate. I'm gonna use the orange. Wow. Projectile. Use the yellow. We'll use the pink. And all these colors are going to work well together, so I don't have to worry about that, right? And we're going to use the, which one? This is the blue. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is mix these like that. And just get a nice mixture here. Okay, so you see I've got a lot of paint on there, and that's good. Let's put the whole down. And I really want a lot of paint on there. That's the whole idea the first time around. We want to just get a good layer, a good covering. Okay, so here we are. That's looking good. Okay, I'm gonna slide to the side because I have to work with, you know, limited space because the camera. Let's put this down. And then what I do is I get just just a piece of copy paper, and I lay it down and I blot it. I still am going to blot it. I don't really want all that thick paint laying there like that. So I blot it so that we get a nice layering going on here. That's looking good. And let's get one more piece because I like to just make sure that I still want this to be a mono print. But I find when you put a lot of paint on it, it really does kind of get more of this kind of marbled sort of effect. So you get a lot of color going on there. So I'm gonna put this to the side. I'm gonna do another one. We're gonna come back and work over top of that. Let's get let me get a little bit of this golden green, and let's use this pink flash. Just want to get a little bright color back in here and a little bit of this yellow. Okay. So it's going to change the palette some, which is good. And this is how, you know, this is how quickly you can just print up some pages just to get a few good pages as a base. And you can use your 8.5 by 11 plate for this too. You don't have to use this really super large one. This isn't the super large. They didn't have one out now larger than this. I think the 16 by 20. I haven't gotten it yet. But this is the 12 by 14. Move this out the way. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Just going to get some of the paint off of here. Okay. We really want to just pull that paint off. Okay. So now let's come back. So these are the two that we have. They're basically drying up good. Okay, now let's come back on this one now with some more of this blue. Keep on using that one and let that one. Okay. Just So you see I'm just kind of doing some striping there with my brayer. Let's put this back down. Basically, we're just going to do a few layers of building up the color so that it has a richness to it. You know, it just doesn't look flat before we do some additional things. See? It's looking good. But every time I am going to take it and just get those. I don't like those peaks and valleys on my stuff. I really don't. I want it to have the monoprint look, so I definitely want it to be smooth. So when we're done, I want the cards to look like they've been printed in the mono printing process. I don't mind for it to look like there's paint on there, but you don't want it to look like it's this big, huge buildup of paint. That's looking good. So let's do the same thing here. Let's use this red flash and do the same thing. So what we can do is kind of doing this sort of same striation. Really just building this up again. See, that's looking good. And remember now, these are all individual cards. So it's okay to have this sort of repeat of pattern going on because we're not really looking at this as a single sheet. We're looking at these individual cards. So you kind of want them to have a similarity, but not be identical. Alrighty. And it's looking good. So now I want to get a little bit, because see there's like white places. I don't want those white places in there. Let's look at this one. It's a little less of the white. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an overall, let's see. I know what we'll do. Let's go ahead and do one metallic layer like using the gold. Let's use this gold here. The DIY. I keep on picking up paints today that are already been. Okay, so now what we're going to do. And what I want to make sure is that I'm really pressing it in because I want to get rid of those white places. But I don't want too much color just to cover everything up, you know. And we don't have to worry about the backs because we're going to be putting stuff on the back. Okay, see, that really knocked down the white a lot. See there? Okay, these are looking good. So let me see if I can pick up some extra material off the plate now, like because the plate has gotten, you know. Yeah, see how we're getting extra material? That's all good. So we're getting stuff there. Let's go ahead and get this sheet here. And because the paper is still sticky too, because the paint is trying to dry, it's a good way to pick up a lot of extra of that old wall look that we like. All right. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, I like to do this just as much up as we can. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, I'm going to come back and using, this out the way, I'm going to use one of my rubber stamps in the circle. This is one of my stamps I had made 100 years ago, one of my patterns. And let's close these up. And then what I like to do is just take and, you know, random. And because this is one of my, you know, designs, I'm happy to use it. You guys know how I kind of feel about using a lot of stuff that's store-bought, but it's okay to use some of them if you have ones you really like. So now I'm remembering that these are individual squares. I'm kind of going to stamp in a way that It's not necessarily full on. You know, there'll be bits and pieces of this on here when we go to, and this is using that ink that just seems to work on everything. So I'll move that over. I'll do that on this one. I'm using the claret because it's a good color for these palettes. And, you know, okay, that's good. So that's the claret on the Stays On brand. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to come back and getting our plate. I'm going to use some of the Puncella. What we're going to do is I'm going to use the Golden's Teal. And I'm just going to put some of it down like that and roll it out. I'm not going to roll the whole plate because I kind of just want to control where this is going to go. Like that. And then we're going to take, let me see how I want to do this. I don't want to do it at an angle. Because remember, these business cards are going to be, you know, all different. We're going to be separating them. So we just kind of want to get the images, see, like that. So I want to kind of go at an angle like that because these are going to break up into various differences. I'm going to put that to the side. And I'll just come back with some more like that. Just get a little bit there. And let's get some here. Okay, that's good. This is looking good. See how we're doing? Just kind of getting a little bit. Alrighty. And I'll just pull that off onto this spare paper because I want to get that up so that it's not, you know, in the way. Okay. So that's what everything is looking like. And we're going to do one more thing to these before we go to the next point, which I'm liking this. I guess I could have used this to get some of that up. That would have been cool. Oh yeah, this is good. It's enough there just to kind of get a pattern that's not too strong. You see how he picks some up there? It's not too strong. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take something like where is it? The champagne, metallic champagne. I want to put a thin layer of this down. And roll this out. And using my stencil that I made from Page Protector. You see, I just cut it out with Page Protector. I'll have to do something. I'll show you guys how I make those. Let's just go ahead and put this back down. And we're just, because I'm just doing pattern on pattern. So when, you know, when these cards are done, it's like interesting. It's just not like, okay, see how subtle that is? It's just nice, these nice subtle squares over everything. And though this looks like a big dominant swath, it's going to really melt away. But it looks like I need some more down on these. So let me roll some more out. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix some of this blue in so that it'll be a little bluer, which will be neat. So I'm gonna get this down here, like how do I want to do this? Like that across the bottom. Let's see how this does. Okay, that's good. Stuff going on down there. And then let's get this here, like maybe the middle. And let's see. I know what else I want to do. Okay, so see, we got some of that there, which is good. Then let's just get bits and pieces of this overprint. See how I kind of get this, that square right there? So just kind of going around and picking a little bit of that up in different places just to kind of make it a little more interesting. Let's do that over here. Yeah. Cool. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do before I show you how to go ahead and finish these off on the back is we're going to put some of the golden iridescent down. And what I do is I keep this old bottle around, which is darn near done, but I fill it up from time to time and just keep it around for this one purpose, because I like the circles that it makes. I'm going to just do a nice overall pattern of circles like that. We're going to take and put this one down right on top of it. And they'll smush out a little bit, you know, I like that. See? Wow. That's looking yummy. Nice overall pattern. Let's go ahead and grab the rest of this. And while we're grabbing that, I'm going to do like I always do and pull some of this off so that it looks more like a mono print and not like a bunch of paint laid down on top of there. That looks good. Okay. These are looking good. So I think I can move my plate out the way. I think that gives you guys enough of an idea how you can just go for it on these cards. Okay, so now what we're going to do is these just come apart so neatly. So let's go ahead and take them apart, and then I'm going to show you how to do the backs of them. And you guys will be ready to do it yourselves. See these? Oh, you know, you guys have seen these before. They just peel away so nicely. Just fold them and peel them off. And let's see. So you just kind of want to, so here we are. This is what it's looking like. See these cards? They look great, don't they? So I won't do them all, but I want to do enough so that you guys can see what the differences are. So you can see how they look off of those sheets. So you just kind of, as you're doing them, you're just kind of thinking them with, you're planning them around, knowing that each one is going to be a little different because of where the folds in the cards are, right? So there's a few of those. They don't really look cool. They're really like neat. Business card, right? Thank you cards. You could do these as trading cards. You could do these as a base of a card. And then, I mean, they're a little smaller than trading card size, but I mean, you know, who cares, right? We can kind of do what we want here. So let's get this. And then it becomes a nice foundation for even embellishing them more. Of course, collaging on top of them. Do whatever you want to do. I love them like they are, because I think it really gives an opportunity for people to enjoy jelly printing and just the beauty of the way those prints look without, you know, too much other stuff going on and competing. Just kind of pull these off. And you'll see even this one that, whereas a composition, this is just way too strong. I mean, it's nothing fabulous about that. But I did on the angle because I know I wanted different parts of the cards to be there, you know, so each one will be a little different. So you can see, just taking it apart, how different this light on my softbox, how different these two cards are. Like this card doesn't really have anything on it, but a little bit of the blue, and this one has the pattern. So it's kind of neat. So I just want to do enough so you guys can see the magic of it. Because after watching me do it, and then, you know, like, oh, let's see what they all look like. And these circles, see, they just really work nice. Just using the inside of any bottle, but because the Golden's paints come in these little 1 ounce bottles, the hole on it, the circle that it makes is really a nice size. So I keep those little bottles so that I can. So anyhow, this gives you a good idea of what these look like. And so we just did 20 just that quickly. You can imagine you could just go on production and do sheets and sheets of these very easily. And the stays on ink doesn't bleed. That's the other nice thing about it. So you can really use it and it stays right on the paper. Okay, so let's finish this up. I'm probably over my 20 minutes, so hopefully I'll be okay. Okay, so let's just pull one of these. I'll take, okay. And so what I do is using these labels, this Avery 5784 is big enough to go from top to bottom on these. So these are basically 2 inches by 3 inches. I think these labels are 2 by 4 basically. So I think my dog is just having a day of it. So let's go ahead and take this and what I basically do is I kind of eyeball it. So I'm looking at it thinking, okay, you know what I like to do too, just to get these right. You're probably looking at me and think of an easier way, but generally when I go in production, I discover easier ways. But right now, so what we're doing is we know that top to bottom that this is going to be just right. So what I want to do is just get my side to side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right to the top of the card and then down. Okay. And then what we can do is we can cut this side off. You could use the white labels, but I happen to like the craft anyhow. I use the craft a lot in my mail outs. And I just think that doing it with something like this, the craft is just, you know, gives it that, now it's just slightly off. And I just think it's fine at the top, but I just think it's not totally accurate there. So you can just clean your cards up real quick if that bothers you, which I don't like it. So I would just put my ruler down just real close to that edge. Using my straight edge, you can clean them up. But for the most part, it's going to line up fine. Okay, so here's the card. Look at that. Thank you for your purchase. You can find me here. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And by putting that extra layer on, it makes the card thicker. And then what I like to do is round the corner. So then I just use my corner rounder like this and knock those little corners back. And then it just really gives it a nice finish look. So, you know, it's like a way to show your gelli printing off, to have a business card or a thank you card or any, you know, the trading cards like we talked about. How cool are these? So anyhow, I just thought today I would show you guys the idea of old school business cards, and I'll be finishing these up. And those of you who purchase from me online and everything, you'll be getting these in your purchase. I always like to give a piece of some of my art away, you know, actual art away anyhow, so people can sort of see, you know, they feel so good too, because they're nice and flat. But they definitely look hand done, but at the same time, not too much. So there we are. So I hope you enjoy the old school business cards. I'm going to be doing some other stationery how-tos with the gelli printing, only because I think it's a popular topic. I know I did not a business card. I did a postcard gelli printing video like a few years back, and that one still gets so many views. I've had so many thousands and thousands of views on that one, and people still look at it. So it tells me that you guys are interested in things like postcards, things like greeting cards. And I used to have an agent in New York that sold my greeting cards worldwide. I did it for a number of years. I was at Neiman's, and you know, Bloomies and places in, you know, Asia and all over the world. Actually, she's really a dynamic uh, salesperson, and she has a wonderful business. And if anyone ever wants to seriously get into that, you can reach out to me, and I'm happy to make the introduction. But anyway, so I do a lot of that. So I thought I would bring some of that into our Gelli printing in these online sessions, so that we're actually making things that you could, you know, do something with, if it's nothing else but just to give it away at the holidays and what have you. All righty, well, Mother's Day is coming up, so maybe make a few quick cards or put some of these in your gifts. And for all of those of you who are moms like myself, happy Mother's Day, and I will see you again soon. Take care, guys. All righty, bye-bye.